Think you know the 9mm winners? Well, hold up. 2025 flipped the table. Quiet pistols you ignored are selling out, and one hyped name, it failed the first time the rounds mattered. I ran every one of these hard. Rain, mud, long drills, cheap ammo, until they either proved they belonged or they didn't. Some surprised me, a couple pissed me off, and the rest just did their job. This isn't a pretty pistol parade, it's a list of 10 that survived real use, and the one at the top will make half of you swear and the other half nod. Stay with it, miss the last pick, and you'll be the one who paid for the lesson. You won't hear folks yelling about the CZ P10C at the range. That's because the people who carry it are too busy shooting straight. This thing's the silent underdog. Low ego, high output. No gimmicks or even flash. It just works without questions asked. Anyone who's ever trusted their life to a polymer gun that isn't a Glock probably knows this one. When we talk about the grip, it locks into your hand like it was built for it. It's not overly aggressive, but not some slick fancy boy finish either. It feels like a tool, not a toy. Triggers crisp enough to steal a shot before your brain catches up. That's rare at this price. It's got that classic CZ DNA buried under polymer, that cold Eastern European don't mess with me vibe. No dramatic backstory, no social media drama. Just a pistol that's here to shoot and survive. It's ranked here because it's earned it, not through hype, but through consistency. When Glock fatigue kicks in, this is what you pick up next and realize, oh damn, this is what I've been missing. Next up, maybe a Glock so tiny it made everyone argue whether it was useless or unstoppable. No big intros, no heroics. The Glock 43 is what's left when all the other pistols are really too big, too loud, or just too damn complicated. You don't carry this thing to impress anyone. You carry because some nights comfort matters more than capacity. Forget rail mounted lights and optics cuts. The 43 doesn't play dress up. It slips into your waistband like it was never there. That's the whole point. Thin, stubborn, and built with one purpose. Don't jam when things go sideways. It's 6 rounds of please don't make me use this packed into something barely thicker than your wallet. And when it fires, it kicks just enough to remind you this ain't no 22 pop gun. It's a lifeline, a whisper of confidence when the world starts closing in. Plenty of folks have tried to replace it. Hell, even Glock tried. But none of them feel this invisible. None of them vanish the way this one does when you're dressed for a hot day or late night. The Glock 43 was never meant to be your everything. It's meant to be there when there's nothing else. You know what's really funny? The loudest guns in the room rarely get picked when it counts. The Masada Slim doesn't brag, and it doesn't pose for range selfies, and yet the second you shoot it, something clicks. That moment when you realize, wait, this thing tracks flat. Like, ridiculously flat. No stunts, no gaudy colors, just quiet execution. The grip angle feels like it was made by someone who's fought before. Not designed, but earned. The slide glides smoother than it should at a price that'll make you do a double take. You start thinking, wait, this is under 500? You want an optic cut? It's already there. You want a trigger that doesn't mush like oatmeal? It's already got it. And recoil? Forget it. This ain't no snappy little toy. The Masada Slim stays locked in like it's reading your mind. It's a 9mm that disappears in a holster until it hits above its weight. No one's flexing it on forums, and that's the point. It's not trying to win your praise, but trust me, once it ends up on your hip, it doesn't come off, not until the job's done. I knew a guy from back home. ran a tiny roadside gun shop, mostly dealt in secondhand revolvers and the occasional shotgun. One day, he handed me a Beretta M9A1, said, "This is what I kept under the counter the whole time. Never had to pull it, but it was always ready." That stuck with me, not because it was tactical or rare, but because he trusted that hunk of metal in a moment that could have been life or death. The M9A1's not here to impress. It doesn't have to. It's just the kind of 9mm you toss in a duffel and forget about until you need it most. It's heavy, solid, feels like a piece of equipment than a handgun. And when you grip it, you just know you're holding something that was made to last, not win beauty contests. You don't buy this thing because it's modern. You buy it because deep down, you want something that feels permanent. Something that's not going to let you down, even if everything else does. It's just a pistol that'll be there no matter what. There's a reason this 9mm keeps showing up on people's ultimate carry list, but it's not without a few real gripes. The first time I picked up the P365X macro, it felt like a Glock 43X got a college scholarship and came back bulked up. Sleek slide, slim profile, and somehow packed 17 rounds. Sounds like a unicorn, right? But the deeper you run it, the more the polish starts to chip. The trigger? It's alright. Not bad, but not great either. Kind of like that guy who shows up to work on time every day, but never once smiles. You also hear people quietly complain about the compensator. It looks fancy, but some say it barely does anything. The recoil control feels more like grip geometry doing the job, not the ports. And concealment? It's thin, yeah, but that Mac base plate is wide as a horse's jaw. You've got to dress around this. You've just got to dance around this one. Still, for folks who want near full-size capacity without full-size bulk, it's a hard gun to ignore. The price is up there, sure, pushing close to some premium duty pistols, but you're paying for that hybrid sweet spot, and if it fits your hand right, good luck ever switching back. This is the pistol you buy when you stop playing catalog cowboy and actually need something that'll disappear in a waistband, fire when it's supposed to, and not beg for attention. The Shield Plus in 9mm doesn't try to be the flashiest, most modular, or the new tactical hotness. No fuss, no frills. It runs and it keeps working. That's why it's in so many kitchen drawers, glove boxes, and EDC rigs across the country. It's not about love at first grip. It's about that quiet confidence you feel knowing you can trust this little thing to do its job every damn time. The price? Let's just say it's one of the few pistols that still gives you your change back after making you feel like you overpaid. And with that flat-faced trigger and improved capacity, it's finally what the original Shield always hinted at but never delivered. You don't carry this one to impress your buddies at the range. You carry it because it doesn't complain, doesn't rattle, and it sure as hell doesn't care if you're printing a little. It's the kind of gun you carry because your life and your money actually matters. And if you think this one punches above its weight, wait till you meet the next leaper in this lineup. Tougher than it looks and cheaper than it should be. You ever pick up a gun and go, wait, that's all it costs? That's the Ruger Security 9 in 9mm. One look at the price tag and you're expecting something plasticky, creaky, maybe a trigger that feels like stepping in mud. But nope, what you get is this weirdly solid hammer-fired chunk of reliability that just shrugs off whatever garbage day you throw at it. Now don't get me wrong, it's not some showpiece. It doesn't care about red dots or slight serrations that look like shark fins. It just works, like a floor jack from your dad's garage. Old, scratched, but still lifting Buicks. And there's something to that. A lot of people overlook it. They want modular, they want micro, they want drama. This just gives you a 15-round magazine and tells you to go shoot already. 1 magazine, 2, 50, no drama. Honestly, for the price, you could buy one and still have gas money left. And no, that wasn't a joke. You'll see why this next one's coming up. Think of it like a little compact tank with a hair trigger. If you ever held a Hellcat Pro in your hand, you'd swear it was built for something bigger than just everyday carry. It's compact, yes, a solid 9mm that disappears in your waistband, but the way it shoots, that's where it fools people. The recoil is tight, snappy, but controlled. Even after a few hundred rounds, it just keeps running without any hiccups or complaints. Plenty of owners have put this thing through rough drills. One guy ran a full weekend course with it. Mud, sweat, dropped twice, and the pistol didn't even flinch. Others call it the Glock 19 killer, not because it's louder or fancier, but because it just quietly outperforms when it matters. What makes it hit harder? It's that balance. Rugged build, consistent trigger, grip that stays planted. Nothing flashy, just solid decisions. And yet, the price tag still undercuts pistols that don't even try half as hard. Call it overbuilt, call it overlooked, but ignore it, and you'll be missing one of the few compacts that actually earns its respect. And here's the kicker. This isn't even the best Springfield in the lineup. Just wait till we get there. Some pistols make you feel welcome, but this one doesn't. This demands honesty. Carrying the Rival S means your errors show up on target, not hidden under tolerance. That's not a flaw, that's its power. Range forms brim with cold takes. It kicked me harder than I expected on one round, but it shot smoother after 500 rounds. One guy posted a video of limp wristing it and still sending crisp hits. The gun didn't excuse him. Another swore it's the only 9mm he won't sell because nothing else handles his aggression. You'll find people saying the mag feels rattly or that it likes ammo far nicer than cheap range pizzas, but they still keep one in their belt. In your hand, the Rival S feels deliberate. Weighted, not bulky, like someone took a full-size frame and made it lean and muscular, not suitcase skinny. When you ride recoil, it returns with control. Blurry follow-ups get cleared, shots group tighter, and that's not an accident, that's by design. You carry something like this not for convenience, but because you want something that pushes you, that forces you to get better when your hands shake. If you're carrying grit, this one's hungry for it. You ever walk into a gun shop and feel the silence when you ask for a Taurus? That's the GX4's biggest problem. It doesn't jam, it doesn't break, doesn't misfire, but it's still treated like junk. Why, you ask? Because people are stuck in 2012 when Taurus had a reputation problem. Well, honestly, it still kinda does. Like when I told you before what happened with my G3C. But this isn't that Taurus. The GX4 is a purpose-built micro-compact 9mm designed to take punches way above its weight. It's not molded after an older PT series. It's a whole new chassis, whole new feel, and one of the few Taurus pistols that even skeptical range owners admit runs clean. The recoil isn't butter smooth, but it's controlled. It points naturally, and for a lot of folks online, it's outperformed big names at half the cost. Some users are 2,000 plus rounds in with zero malfunctions. Others post photos of their carry rigs with scratched, sweat-stained GX4s that just work. Yet every forum thread still has someone scoffing, it's just a Taurus. But don't make the mistake of thinking it's the same as a G3C. Yes, it's a Taurus, and that's exactly why it bothers people. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit. If Glock made this gun, people would be paying $5.99 without blinking. But because it's a PSA Dagger, folks treat it like a budget knockoff, and that's the whole problem. This pistol does nearly everything a Gen 3 Glock 19 does, and then some for under $300. Now before you scream clone, let's get this straight. The Dagger Compact isn't just some polymer copy, it's PSA's hard swing at creating a better Glock 19 for the guys who couldn't care less about brand names. For its light serrations, stainless guide rod, upgraded trigger feel and frame texture that doesn't feel like holding a damn soap bar. Still, gun snobs love to scoff. Why risk on a PSA? Except real shooters have put these through serious beatings. Some are over 5,000 rounds deep without a single failure. Others ran torture tests, dirt, rain, and snow, and the dagger just kept cycling regardless. Forums are flooded with posts like, "I bought it as a beater, but now it's my daily." It's not for people who flex brand logos at the range. It's for people who shoot. Simple as that. And just when you think this list can throw another curveball, the next pistol brings back a legend, but not the version you think. You'll see people dropping $800 or $900 on slide cuts, optics-ready frames, and flared mags, all to squeeze out a little performance from their fancy plastic pistols. Meanwhile, the CZ75B is just sitting there collecting dust, but still out shooting most of them. This all-steel double-action beast didn't come to impress your Instagram followers. It came to shoot and win. The balance is unreal, the recoil's almost soothing, and the accuracy, it's the kind of precision that makes you feel like you're better than you really are. Ask any old school range guy and they'll tell you, this gun doesn't just work, it feels like it was made for your hand. That low bore axis, the smooth trigger pull, the way it returns to target like it's on rails. It's not optics ready, not modular, not lightweight, and it doesn't need to be. What's wild is how many cops, trainers, and serious shooters still keep a CZ75B tucked away quietly like a secret they don't want to admit works better than their $1,200 race guns. This thing might not be cool anymore, but it still wins, and that's exactly why it bothers people. You would think that after all these years, people would stop calling this a knockoff, but nope. Walk into any online forum and someone's still thrashing the Stoeger STR9 Compact like it's a $200 flea market buy. Never mind the thousands of users who've pushed well past 1,000 rounds without a hiccup. Never mind the fact that its build quality, texture, and overall feel give mid-tier pistols real competition. If it doesn't say Glock or SIG, it gets dismissed. But the STR9 Compact keeps showing up, keeps running clean, and keeps proving its point. It's got aggressive serrations, solid grip texture, a crisp enough trigger, and a well-balanced recoil profile that doesn't feel like a budget gun at all. And for people who carry it daily, those worn-out holsters and sweat-soaked grips say more than any spec sheet ever could. It's not flashy, the aftermarket support is light, and yes, you'll probably have to fight to find decent holsters, but mechanically, it doesn't flinch and it doesn't give excuses. And yet, people still roll their eyes when they hear Stoeger. Well, let them, because while they talk, this thing just keeps firing. Very few to almost nobody's talking about the effing 509 anymore, and that's a damn shame. This full-size duty-grade 9mm pistol that was built for war is now collecting dust at your local shop like it's just another striker-fired budget gun, except it's not. This thing was designed to win the U.S. Army's Modular Handgun System contract. It may not have won, but what effing walked away with was a civilian pistol that feels more combat-ready than half the guns actually issued to cops in 2025. The chassis is steel reinforced, the recoil system is heavy duty, and the trigger, crisp enough to run fast and stiff enough to stay reliable in dirt, grime, and wet. The 509 doesn't need optics or lasers or even gimmicks to justify itself. It just runs after thousands of rounds without any excuses or fanfare. But here's the deal. Glock fanboys won't touch it, Taurus fans never look this high, and even CZ shooters act like it's invisible. That's exactly why it's made this list. It's one of the most underrated full-size 9mm pistols on the market today, not because it lacks quality, but because it lacks hype. And in this game, that's a rare thing. Some of you are already loading the comments with "my pistol's better." Well, good. I want to hear it. But fair warning, if it's a $250 plastic toy that chokes every mag, I'm calling you out by name. That's the thing about 9mm. Everybody's got their favorite, but not all of them can walk the walk. This list was built on what actually held up, not just what looks pretty in a catalog. So tell me, which one would you trust when it ain't paper targets anymore? Drop it down below. This has been your boy Steve, and I'll see you in the next one, so stay strapped and stay sharp.